One man in sports I don't bet against when the stakes are highest. He is the ultimate game manager, as in, I'm playing chess to your checkers.
Some of the greatest surgeons in the world cannot operate with this kind of precision.
Picturesque. What a beauty.
Virtuoso.
He can flat out play. We're going to go on a run.
Cross the header is an absolute stunner.
I'm here to have their back.
All next week, following World Cup action, Undisputed will be live at 10 a.m. Eastern, getting you set for Thanksgiving football. It's, of course, headlined by Skip's Cowboys taking on Saquon Barkley and the Giants, only on Fox. Bruce Arians is optimistic that the Bucs will end their season strong, even make a late postseason run. He says Tom Brady is going to be fine, despite, quote, playing bad his first few games. He also mentioned he saw Brady smile last week at practice for the first time all season. Shannon, what do you expect from Brady in the final 7 games of this season?
Well, I expect him. I think the best thing that's happening to him, Skip, is that they're in the NFC South. You look at their strength of schedule, it's 30th. They got the Browns, Saints, 49ers, Bengals, Cardinals, Panthers, Falcons.
They got a couple of rough because they got to go to 49ers.
The 49ers at the 49ers.
And then they got Cincinnati at home.
Cincinnati at home. The Browns. The Brown comes and goes. 1 week they look like world beaters, and the next week they can't get out of their own way. But I expect them to play well. Now, it's still, Skip, when I look at Tom, and they're averaging 18 points a game, we used to, Tom got off the bus, 28, 31 points. That's what he's getting. And you got to keep up with that because you know their offense is going to score. Now, they're a defensive-led team, and that you just hope the defense can keep it close. And, okay, Tom, beat Tom in the end of the ball game. I expect him to play better than what he's played thus far. The question is, was that the blueprint that we saw in Munich? Running the football, Tom play action. What do you have, 29 attempts? Or are we going to see Tom go back to 45, 50, 55 attempts, Skip? Because if they can run the football now you keep the other opposing team's offense off the field. You allow Tom to get into more of a rhythm. You let your defense get rested so when they come out on the field, they can attack. They were playing too many snaps because Tom was going too many 3 and out. Teams go long drive, 12, 13-play drive, get a touchdown, Tom go 3 and out, put those guys right back on the field. I expect him to play better. Could they possibly win out? I don't see them losing more than 1 game in the schedule. If I'm reading the schedule right, see the way they're playing, looking at who they're playing, looking at who Tampa's playing, looking at how Tampa's playing, I can only see them losing 1 game tops. Maybe if Cincinnati get chased back, could that swing the balance? Because Cincinnati can run the ball now. They can mix it in P-Ryan. They can run it.
That's why I picked them. Picked them to win the AFC.
Question is, can they hold up? Can they hold up when he dropped back to pass? Mm-hmm. So I think Brady will be fine. But it's just hard to believe, Skip, that they've only scored more than 22 points twice this season. That's 20. They scored 31 against Kansas City, and both of them losses, and 22 against Baltimore.
Okay.
Tom Brady did that.
All right. But what did Tom Brady always have in 20 years with Belichick? Always had 2 things going.
Defense.
He always had. Well, I'm just doing it on the offensive side.
Okay.
He always had pretty to very good protection, and he always had a good running game, a solid running game that you could lean on or you could exploit. Right. When Belichick saw a glaring weakness, remember that Sunday night game at Indy? He just said, I'm just going to run this guy. I'm going to run it till you stop it, and if you can't stop it, I'll run him the whole game.
Yeah.
And Brady'd be like, okay, whatever. Because he wasn't, he never was a big stat guy except for that one 2007 with Randy Moss. But the point is, for most of this year until the last 2 games, they have not been able to protect him the way he needs to be protected, certainly at age 45, when he's just not going to take punishment. He's going to throw the ball in the dirt if you don't give him his whatever seconds. He needs 3 seconds
at least
to throw
3.
It. Yeah, he needs 3 seconds. And the other thing is, they have been ranked all the way up until now dead last in rushing because they kept going back to the Leonard Fournette well, and it's been dry.
Right.
Let's try him again. And I still like him, and I think he runs hard. I do think he got heavy, and I think it's hurt him some.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to get back to sort of that playing shape,
Yeah.
and he doesn't look like he's there. Well, the best quotes, I despise him taking shots at Brady because I don't know what good it does.
Right.
But, okay, so he's speaking the harsh truth about Tom Brady. But he also raved about this Rachaad White kid, and I'm going to read this quote because Aaron's is a smart football guy. He knows football, right?
Absolutely.
And he says, I told you way back when that White's going to take this thing over. Well, it took 10 games, but he took it over on Sunday at Munich, right?
Yeah.
Again, he's a rookie out of Arizona State. He's just too freaking good. He sees it. He's got power. He's got speed. He can run routes like a wide receiver. I think he's very much like Edgerrin James, who obviously he had in Indianapolis.
In Indy.
He can run, he can catch, and he's a little bow-legged just like Edgerrin, which can be good for a running back, run a little lower.
Right.
Okay. So my point is, maybe they found something with this kid. Maybe it takes Brady a while to trust a kid, you know?
But I think the thing is, Skip, is that Leonard Fournette has been very good for the Bucs. And so you want to give him every chance you can to break out of the funk that he's in as far as running the football. He did start the season with a 100-plus yard game against the Cowboys, and every week has been down since. So I'm going to give you every chance to try to get out of this. But at some point in time, like, damn, we can't just ask Tom to throw the ball 45 times because at some point in time, he's going to get hit.
Okay, and you saw what Aaron did to my Cowboys. They just finally said, let's flip the script.
And you remember, Skip, on that on third down, Aaron walked off the field. What did he tell LaFleur? Run them.
Yeah. All right. Okay, I got it. So all of a sudden, against Seattle, those two kids in the offensive line started to look like they were getting a hold of it. And Brady, I believe he's a good offensive line coach. I think he's a good sort of mentor and a motivator, and he kept on them. Maybe he chewed them out, but I think they love him and they play hard for him. They started to get a hold of it. And if they start to get a hold of it, look out, because if he starts getting his 3 seconds and he got Julio back and Godwin started to look faintly like Chris Godwin, the Pro Bowl Chris Godwin, okay, now it's starting to come together and you give them 2 weeks to get healthier on the defensive side. Do they miss Sue? Do they miss JPP? They probably do.
Skip, Sue had an unbelievable year last year.
He did. I don't get that one. But they thought it was just too much for what it was worth, and they thought he was an aging, declining player. But, again, they do have Vita Vea.
He's playing very well.
He's playing very well. They are really good on defense. They lost their way for a while, stopping the run, but then all of a sudden, because that kid for Seattle, he was killing
Walker
people.
the third,
He was killing people.
He was.
And he went 10 times for 17 yards. That's shades of the glory days, man.
Skip, when you can run the ball, all those intermediate routes, how they sneak Chris Godwin in behind you, and they sneak those other guys, and the tight ends find the seams, you're able to do that because now you put the ball in the belly, you pull it out. The linebackers have got to honor it because you're gashing them with the run.
Okay, so he finally got Cameron Brate back. He's got a neck issue, which is scary.
Yeah.
But then this kid, Cade Otton, that you like, Brady's starting to trust him and starting to make big throws to Cade Otton. Okay? It's starting to come together right on time, and you give it 2 weeks. Now they got something. I thought Gronk would come back to save the day. It's appearing less and less likely. I think you were correct about that. And by the way, if I know Brady from a distance, I believe that deep down he's saying, okay, maybe it's time for me to show the world I don't have to lean on him come playoff times. Maybe it's time for me to show I can take Cameron Brate and Cade Otton and I can still go beat you, right? So maybe his ego is starting to come into play there.
But everybody got an ego. And the more successful you are, the bigger your ego is.
I got it. I'm sticking with this team. I still think they're going to make it all the way home to the Super Bowl. Well,
it's going to be interesting to see what the Browns, like I said, the Browns 1 week, Skip, they get after your quarterback with Garrett and Clowney and those guys, and then the next week they ain't never seen a football.
I don't know.
But you know one thing they can do? They can run it too now.
Just 500 guys, and they're in control of the NFC South.
Yes.
That's all they need. All right, what do the Cowboys and Packers game being the most watched game all season say about these two teams?